Climate. According to the Köppen climate classification, Barcelona has a hot summer Mediterranean climate, with mild winters and warm to hot summers, while the rainiest seasons are autumn and spring. The rainfall pattern is characterized by a short dry season in summer, as well as less winter rainfall than in a typical Mediterranean climate. However, both June and August are wetter than February, which is unusual for the Mediterranean climate. This subtype, labeled as Portuguese by the French geographer Georges Vias after the climate classification of Emmanuel Desmartins and found in the NW Mediterranean area, can be seen as transitional to the humid subtropical climate found in inland areas. Barcelona is densely populated, thus heavily influenced by the urban heat island effect. Areas outside of the urbanized districts can have as much as 2 degrees Celsius of difference in temperatures throughout the year. Its average annual temperature is 21.2 degrees Celsius during the day and 15.1 degrees Celsius at night. The average annual temperature of the sea is about 20 degrees Celsius. In the coldest month, January, the temperature typically ranges from 12 to 18 degrees Celsius during the day, 6 to 12 degrees Celsius at night, and the average sea temperature is 13 degrees Celsius. In the warmest month, August, the typical temperature ranges from 27 to 31 degrees Celsius during the day, about 23 degrees Celsius at night, and the average sea temperature is 26 degrees Celsius. Generally, the summer or holiday season lasts about 6 months, from May to October. 2 months, April and November, are transitional. Sometimes the temperature exceeds 20 degrees Celsius, with an average temperature of 18 to 19 degrees Celsius during the day and 11 to 13 degrees Celsius at night. December, January and February are the coldest months, with average temperatures around 15 degrees Celsius during the day and 9 degrees Celsius at night. Large fluctuations in temperature are rare, particularly in the summer months. Because of the proximity to the warm sea plus the urban heat island, frosts are very rare in the city of Barcelona. Snow is also very infrequent in the city of Barcelona, but light snowfalls can occur yearly in the nearby Collserella Mountains, such as in the Fabra Observatory located in a nearby mountain. Barcelona averages 78 rainy days per year, and annual average relative humidity is 72%, ranging from 69% in July to 75% in October. Rainfall totals are highest in late summer and autumn and lowest in early and midsummer, with a secondary winter minimum. Sunshine duration is 2,524 hours per year, from 138 in December to 310 in July. Religion. Most of the inhabitants state they are Roman Catholic. In a 2011 survey conducted by Info Católica, 49.5% of Barcelona residents of all ages identified themselves as Catholic. This was the first time that more than half of respondents did not identify themselves as Catholic Christians. The numbers reflect a broader trend in Spain whereby the numbers of self-identified Catholics have declined. In 2019, a survey by Centro de Investigaciones Sociológicas showed that 53.2% of residents in Barcelona identified themselves as Catholic. The province has the largest Muslim community in Spain. 322,698 people in Barcelona province are of Muslim religion. A considerable number of Muslims live in Barcelona due to immigration. In 2014, 322,698 out of 5.5 million people in the province of Barcelona identified themselves as Muslim, which makes 5.6% of total population. The city also has the largest Jewish community in Spain, with an estimated 3,500 Jews living in the city. There are also a number of other groups, including Evangelical, Jehovah's Witnesses, Buddhists, and Eastern Orthodox. Buses in Barcelona are a major form of public transport, with extensive local, interurban and night bus networks. Most local services are operated by the TMB, although some other services are operated by a number of private companies, albeit still within the ATM fare structure. A separate private bus line, known as Erebus, links the airport with the city centre, with its own fare structure. The Estacio del Nord, a former railway station which was renovated for the 1992 Olympic Games, now serves as the terminus for long-distance and regional bus services. Metro. Barcelona is served by an extensive local public transport network that includes a metro system, a bus network, a regional railway system, trams, funiculars, rack railways, a gondola lift and aerial cable cars. These networks and lines are run by a number of different operators, but they are integrated into a coordinated fare system, administered by the Autorität del Transport Metropolitano. The system is divided into fare zones and various integrated travel cards are available. The Barcelona metro network comprises 12 lines, identified by an L followed by the line number as well as by individual colors. The metro largely runs underground. 8 metro lines are operated on dedicated track by the Transports Metropolitans de Barcelona, whilst 4 lines are operated by the Ferrocarrils de la Generalitat de Catalunya and some of them share tracks with Renfe commuter lines. In addition to the city metro, several regional rail lines operated by Renfe's Rodalies de Catalunya run across the city, providing connections to outlying towns in the surrounding region. Economy. History. Prehistory. The origin of the earliest settlement at the site of present-day Barcelona is unclear. The ruins of an early settlement have been found, including different tombs and dwellings dating to earlier than 5000 BC. The founding of Barcelona is the subject of 2 different legends. The first attributes the founding of the city to the mythological Hercules. The second legend attributes the foundation of the city directly to the historical Carthaginian general, Hamilcar Barca, father of Hannibal, who supposedly named the city Barcino after his family in the 3rd century BC. But there is no historical or linguistic evidence that this is true. Roman Barcelona. In about 15 BC, the Romans redrew the town as a castrum centered on the Mons Tabor, a little hill near the Generalitat and City Hall buildings. The Roman Forum, at the crossing of the Caudo Maximus and Decumanus Maximus, was approximately placed where current Plaça de Sant Jaume is. Thus, the political center of the city, Catalonia, and its domains has remained in the same place for over 2000 years. Under the Romans, it was a colony with the surname of Faventia, or, in full, Colonia Faventia Julia Augusta Pia Barcino or Colonia Julia Augusta Faventia Patena Barcino. Pomponius Mela mentions it among the small towns of the district, probably as it was eclipsed by its neighbor Tarraco, but it may be gathered from later writers that it gradually grew in wealth and consequence. Favored as it was with a beautiful situation and an excellent harbour, it enjoyed immunity from imperial burdens. The city minted its own coins, some from the era of Galba survive. Important Roman vestiges are displayed in Plaça del Rei underground, as a part of the Barcelona City History Museum. The typically Roman grid plan is still visible today in the layout of the historical center, the Berry Gothic. Some remaining fragments of the Roman walls have been incorporated into the cathedral. The cathedral, known very formally by the long name of Catedral Basílica Metropolitana de Barcelona, is also sometimes called La Seu, which simply means cathedral in Catalan. It is said to have been founded in 343. Medieval Barcelona. The city was conquered by the Visigoths in the early 5th century, becoming for a few years the capital of all Hispania. After being conquered by the Arabs in the early 8th century, it was conquered after a siege in 801 by Charlemagne's son Louis, who made Barcelona the seat of the Carolingian Hispanic March, a buffer zone ruled by the Count of Barcelona. The Counts of Barcelona became increasingly independent and expanded their territory to include much of modern Catalonia, although on the 6th of July 985, Barcelona was sacked by the army of Almanzor. The sack was so traumatic that most of Barcelona's population was either killed or enslaved. In 1137, Aragon and the county of Barcelona merged in dynastic union by the marriage of Ramon Berenguer IV and Petronilla of Aragon, their titles finally borne by only one person when their son Alfonso II of Aragon ascended to the throne in 1162. His territories were later to be known as the Crown of Aragon, which conquered many overseas possessions and ruled the western Mediterranean Sea with outlying territories in Naples and Sicily and as far as Athens in the 13th century. Barcelona was the leading slave trade center of the Crown of Aragon up until the 15th century, when it was eclipsed by Valencia. It initially fed from Eastern and Balkan slave stock, later drawing from a Maghribian and, ultimately, sub-Saharan pool of slaves. The Bank of Barcelona, or Taula de Canvi, often viewed as the oldest public bank in Europe, was established by the city magistrates in 1401. It originated from necessities of the state, as did the Bank of Venice and the Bank of Genoa. Barcelona under the Spanish monarchy. The marriage of Ferdinand II of Aragon and Isabella I of Castile in 1469 united the two royal lines. Madrid became the center of political power whilst the colonization of the Americas reduced the financial importance of Mediterranean trade. Barcelona was a center of Catalan separatism, including the Catalan revolt against Philip IV of Spain. The Great Plague of 1650 to 1654 halved the city's population. In the 18th century, a fortress was built at Montjuic that overlooked the harbour. In 1794, this fortress was used by the French astronomer Pierre-François-André Maillain for observations relating to a Sèvres stretching to Dunkirk that provided the official basis of the measurement of a meter. The definitive meter bar, manufactured from platinum, was presented to the French Legislative Assembly on the 22nd of June, 1799. Much of Barcelona was negatively affected by the Napoleonic Wars, but the start of industrialization saw the fortunes of the province improve. The Spanish Civil War and the Franco period. During the Spanish Civil War, the city, and Catalonia in general, were resolutely republican. Many enterprises and public services were collectivized by the CNT and UGT unions. As the power of the Republican government and the Generalitat diminished, much of the city was under the effective control of anarchist groups. The anarchists lost control of the city to their own allies, the communists and official government troops, after the street fighting of the Barcelona May days. The fall of the city on the 26th of January, 1939, caused a mass exodus of civilians who fled to the French border. The resistance of Barcelona to Franco's coup d'état was to have lasting effects after the defeat of the Republican government. The autonomous institutions of Catalonia were abolished, and the use of the Catalan language in public life was suppressed. Barcelona remained the second largest city in Spain, at the heart of a region which was relatively industrialized and prosperous, despite the devastation of the Civil War. The result was a large-scale immigration from poorer regions of Spain, which in turn led to rapid urbanization. Late 20th century. In 1992, Barcelona hosted the Summer Olympics. The after effects of this are credited with driving major changes in what had, up until then, been a largely industrial city. As part of the preparation for the Games, industrial buildings along the seafront were demolished and 3 kilometers of beach were created. New construction increased the road capacity of the city by 17%, the sewage handling capacity by 27% and the amount of new green areas and beaches by 78%. Between 1990 and 2004, the number of hotel rooms in the city doubled. Perhaps more importantly, the outside perception of the city was changed, making, by 2012, Barcelona the 12th most popular city destination in the world and the 5th amongst European cities. Recent history. The death of Franco in 1975 brought on a period of democratization throughout Spain. Pressure for change was particularly strong in Barcelona, which considered that it had been punished during nearly 40 years of Francoism for its support of the Republican government. Massive, but peaceful, demonstrations on the 11th of September, 1977, assembled over 1 million people in the streets of Barcelona to call for the restoration of Catalan autonomy. It was granted less than a month later. The development of Barcelona was promoted by two events in 1986, Spanish accession to the European Community, and particularly Barcelona's designation as host city of the 1992 Summer Olympics. The process of urban regeneration has been rapid, and accompanied by a greatly increased international reputation of the city as a tourist destination.